Welcome to episode 16 of WoT Talk, or better known as Wheel of Time Talk. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it is known as WoT Talk more than Wheel of Time Talk. I've never taken the poll. I don't know the statistics. I just lied to you, and you're okay with it. And that's the problem, you know? That's where all of America... I'm going to stop that now. All right, so last episode, we talked about fan theories, and you guys blew my mind quite a bit. And there were some incredible responses to those fan theories in the comments below, and I recommend you check them out. But this episode is going to kind of be spoiler-free with a caveat, because it's just talking about how the showrunners will handle Season 1 of The Eye of the World. And because of that, I'm not going to take the time to run through a bunch of the off-topic questions, but I'm going to just kind of talk about some of the other comments that are just there that I wanted to mention real quick before we jump into the main question. But I will go as far as to say, mostly spoiler-free episode. You know, if you haven't finished book 1, I appreciate you being here, but I'm a little concerned because like you haven't been able to really listen to much of anything. But spoilers for only book 1, because we're only talking about season 1. If someone brings up book 2, I'll censor it, or I'll give that a big old warning. But I can't imagine we'll be going really past book 1 or even deep into any of the details of book 2. So tread forward confidently, my friends. But real quick, from Big Dirk, and I read that correctly because I almost didn't read this comment because I almost didn't read that comment on here because of that name. Because we're trying to keep it family friendly. Yeah, filthy animals. All right, he said, dude, you got me reading Wheel of Time for the first time. I was intimidated at first, but just decided to dive in. And you let me let you know, Big Dirk, that I appreciate that. And I'm excited for you to be reading it. And I'm blown away that I have that effect on people at all. And I'm jealous of the fact that you get to experience it at the first time. And this is from Wiley Rojas. My head exploded with the Gari Amalazan theory. Actually, to me, it was written in stone now. Dude, me too. Like, I've been thinking about it quite a bit, and I'm kind of blown away. Swani Orande, you had a great comment here, but it's filled with spoilers, so I'm not going to directly address it. That being said, there are over 20 replies to it. A lot of back and forth that was great, and it looks like it was discussed enough between three of you, I think, were involved, 4 maybe, and you guys did a great job. But if you guys want to see a good Wheel of Time debate with some interesting ideas going back and forth, go check out this thread that has nearly as many comments as my actual "please post your responses here" comment, which, by the way, for the question of this episode of WoT Talk, please respond to my top comment that I'll have pinned once the video's up and released. Thank you very much. And if I forgot to put the comment there, I'm sorry. Come back in 5 minutes, it'll be there. Because I can't post a comment before the video's published, and it's very frustrating. I don't know why YouTube doesn't let me do that. So, from Amith Gosh, oh my god, it has 14 books. It will take a lifetime to finish. I don't know if you're being sarcastic here or not. And I'm not sure if this is someone who just doesn't read Wheel of Time, who just jumped into the video, or if this is someone who's supposed to recognize who's being sarcastic. Either way, you breeze through the 14 books, and the fans here will back me up on that pretty intensely. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and jump on into the replies, which were, how do you think they will handle season 1? And I'm really excited to see your responses to this. I haven't read through any of them yet because I've been moving, incredibly busy, and I'm just now kind of finally settling down. You guys are probably tired of hearing me complain about moving, so I'm going to go ahead and stop complaining about moving and go ahead and jump on into your beautiful, lovely comments. Starting with the first one, and one of the most highly upvoted, from Vixillion. TBH, I was upset when I first read the summary, which was released with the announcement. But after thinking about it, I believe having Moraine's point of view at first in order to create more suspense about the Dragon Reborn and male channelers in general can work out quite well. It seems like an interesting idea, and now I'm looking forward to more news about the series, especially the casting. P.S. I hope they skip the prologue. It would be too confusing. Agree with your final point. I'm a little concerned people are reading too much into that press release because we don't know who wrote it. We don't know where it came from. We don't know, at least I don't know. I shouldn't say we. I don't know where it came from. So maybe, let them go. That being said, I would love to kind of see it from Moiraine's perspective quite a bit. This is, while it is about a male chosen one, a fairly female, heavily dominated series. I mean, I think we spend more time with female characters than male. In fact, I think I've seen that statistic, so I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that. And I think that if they embrace that, it'll only be a good thing. I have no issue with having a female dominated fantasy series, especially when it's being more true to the source material by having that. This one is from John Mayer. What I'm hoping is that they stick to the main plot of Eye of the World, cut out a lot of the travel. Yeah, they kind of have to do that. Maybe have a couple more scenes where both Egwene and Nynaeve show some of their potential and the power, and end up with a scene where we have Rand and Egwene embracing at the end of a season, and we all of a sudden switch to a shoulder point of view of beautiful black-haired woman in white looking on, eyes eyes full of jealousy. Oh, and about the name, well, I appreciate being compared to the singer. I do not have his list of girlfriends or musical talent, so the last name is pronounced Meyer, as in Muck and Meyer. Keep up the good work. Sorry for the mispronunciation of your name, dude. I'm not sure how I feel about the last shot being that over-the-shoulder thing. It's a funny one, though. I like it for that sense. And I still dig your name, and I'm sorry, but in my head I will always make the comparison. Dyslexia for the win. This next comment, if after I scroll down to the bottom to see it, is from Freddie Ramirez. Good name. That sounds like a Freddie Ramirez. I don't know. It just sounds intense. It's a good name. Spoilers for Eye of the World and The Great Hunt. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this a little bit here, and I'm gonna keep an eye out. I'm gonna prevent myself from saying anything that could be a spoiler for The Great Hunt. In case anyone here is only on book 1, I'll put a censor in. It'll be great. Spoilers for Eye of the World and The Great Hunt. I think the best place for the prologue would be at the beginning of the season finale, or at least not until it's obvious Rand is the dragon. Interesting. If they could do it without cutting too much, I wouldn't even mind if they made it season 1 end of the Great Hunt, in which case I would put the prologue at the beginning of the episode after they leave the Eye of the World. Interesting. Okay. Must-have events from the first 2 books. Let me know if you think I forgot any. So these are the must-have events. I'm going to skip over those because a lot of them are spoiler. That's only 10 things, and a lot of them would be in the same episode. So I could see them doing something like that, and I would love it, I think. I just made this list from memory, so I know I've skipped some important stuff, but I think it's completely reasonable for the first 2 books to be compressed into one season. On a final thought, I also really like this because it actually allows season 2 to really focus on the Aiel that's not much of a spoiler, focus on the Aiel as a mysterious force in the first half of the season, who, that's an interesting idea. Good thoughts. I'm going to stop it there because it gets a little more spoilery. No, I like what you're saying. I'm not opposed to the idea of 2 books in one season at the beginning, though I think Rafe already stated on his Twitter that all the condensing, or most of the condensing, will be happening with the middle books. So, while I'm not against it, it seems the showrunners are going to let Eye of the World be a standalone season, which I think means they're going to do most of the book and maybe even add a few things, which I would be okay with. I'd like to flesh out Egwene a little bit more at the beginning, maybe flesh out Nynaeve a little more at the beginning. Nothing but good things happening there. So we have spoilers, maybe? If we're talking about book 1, you don't really need to mark that as spoilers, in my opinion. And this is from Jessica Haley. All right, Jessica, what do you got to say? Hopefully they handle it well. Hoping for more costume effects for the Trollocs like they did the orcs in Lord of the Rings, and curious to see how they incorporate channeling. I'd like to see more consistent character coverage throughout the show, unlike Game of Thrones, where you can go a whole season without hearing about a character, even if the updates on characters only come in conversation between others. I'm going to skip that. This would be a nice small touch while allowing smaller or action/plot light parts of the series to be omitted. Major spoiler thoughts on the last week's Wheel of Time talk. Okay, I'm going to skip over that. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep it a little bit more spoiler free here. Love the Wheel of Time content and happy to have an outlet for this other than the hubby because He hasn't read it, and I'm still trying to convince him to. So I can't talk about spoiler things with him. LOL, keep up the great work and appreciate all you do. Thank you, Jessica. And you know what? You'll get your husband to do it one day. Let me just say real quick, if you guys need more Wheel of Time outlets, there are a couple great podcasts out there you should check out. From the White Tower podcast, which is run by two hilarious women whose names I'm blanking on. Sorry, I'm terrible with names, as everyone knows. And then there's also Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast, which if you've finished and you have no regard for spoilers, they are killing it in terms of numbers. They're not even, I'm not even, just shouting them out in general right now. I appreciate those guys quite a bit. Now we're moving on to the next comment, and this is from Viva Kande Pingali. Sorry, I'm probably butchering your name. I'm hoping they use Dragon Mount as a prologue to the final episode of this season that contains either world segments or the episode that starts with the Great Hunt regarding Moraine as the central character. This would actually only make sense for the first two episodes anyway, since after Shardar Logoth would naturally have to shift between characters. Yeah, that's true. Depending on the length of the season, ending with the climax of the Great Hunt could be cool. Yeah, again, I don't disagree with this, but I don't know. I think I made the mistake of amping up the whole Moraine perspective too much, and people are running like crazy with that. I don't think we're only going to be following her perspective for an entire episode even. We probably are just going to start with Rand and Tam on the road, and then we're going to move to kind of really focusing on who Moraine is from the boys' perspective, and it just be a huge part of the first episode or even two. That's just my theory. I think the first shot of the show, and I'm calling it now, I'm saying this as a fact, first shot of the show is going to be Rand and Tam walking down a dirt road, and we all know what happens after that. Oh boy, I see a comment coming that someone's mad at me. Sorry. All right, not this one though. All right, so this is from Toby Martinez. If the first episode wraps up with the party leaving Emmons Field, I'm absolutely fine with it. Me too. However, I also think if they were going to include the prologue and the Raven chapter, the one with Egwene's point of view as a child, I don't think they will, but maybe a good cut to end the first episode would be the Trollocs burst into Rand's home. I don't think that, I'm against that, but I see what you're going for. Now on to something I wish they would do. I want the Trolloc encounters in the first season to be like horror movie scenes. That I 100% agree with you on, especially if Myrddraal are involved. I want the Trolloc, Myrddraal, I want the Trolloc, Myrddraal, and Rand's nightmares to be as frightening as possible. Me too. I'm okay with the story revolving around Moraine because she's awesome. Yes, she is. I just think that with her in the focus, it won't be as scary. No, I disagree with that because, there can be terrifying scenes if you're following a powerful person, but that's just me. That being said, if we get Moraine's point of view, I want to see how she massacres the Trollocs in Emmons Field, and I want to see her flirting with Tom because when I read the books, I didn't pick on any signs of that and came out of the blue for me that they were a thing. Yeah, I think it did for a lot of people. Something else I also definitely want to see fleshed out is the impact that the tainted Yep, I need to skip over some of your comment here, my dude, because I'm trying to keep this spoiler-free here. My last wish for the season one would be that they do justice to the sword stances Robert Jordan came up with. I want realistic fighting choreographies that are oriented on how they look were described in the books. The only reasonable ending for season one for me would be the end of the Eye of the World, because otherwise they would need to either cut much of the content or do over 20 episodes for the first season. Plus, if the show gets axed after season one, it would still be a way to end the show. Yeah, there's a lot of good content there in your comment, man. I don't hardcore disagree. Okay, from Nick. I'm just gonna say Nick because he all caps in the beginning of his comment is just Nick Daniel because I keep calling you something else and I apologize. Your username should change, my man. I read usernames first. You can't blame me, dude. I have to read so many people's comments, and I mean, there's some people who stick out to me and I recognize you instantly because you're just like consistent presences, and I appreciate that, and that's great. But there's other people where like it's only for WoT Talks, and I have a hard time remembering all y'all's preferences. I apologize, Nick, for the future. I'll try to do better. I promise it. I think they will handle it greatly. Me too. I got a lot of faith for how the show is going. The first 2 episodes are presumably the first 20 chapters based on the episode titles. Yep, that's a safe bet. That's nearly half of book 1. No way they're doing only Eye of the World in season 1, which is interesting to say the least. Wait, what was the title of book 2? No, I think the title of book 2 just implied leaving Shardar Logoth, which still gives a ton of things. Maybe if they're only doing 8 episodes, or if they're only doing 10, I could still see Eye of the World being the entire first season. Anyway, I think combining 1 and 2 would overwhelm the audience with characters, themes, narratives, etc. The magic system, the wheel that weaves our fates narrative, the Forsaken, the Dark One, Wolves, the World of Dreams, the 7 Seals, the Horn of Valir, Aes Sedai, 7 Ajas to Remember, White Cloaks, Sean. Okay, not to mention 7 date chapters with 24 supporting ones, each and every one of which is extremely important. As many characters that will show up for a scene or 2, but you have to remember them since they become important later. Then you list a bunch of characters. However, I have faith in Rafe, I really do, and you should too. Of course I do. I've mentioned many times I think Rafe's so far doing nothing but inspiring confidence in me. And again, I think they're going to stick with 1 season. So I'm gonna disagree with your premise, but I still think it would be possible to handle 2 books in 1 season as well. It'd be trickier. Like, I think they should start as small as you can with Wheel of Time. So I think the smarter choice is to just do Eye of the World. But that's just me, you know? We don't know the episode limit yet. And when or how many episodes there'll be for season 1. When that comes out, Nick, then we'll know. You know? Then we'll for sure come back. You and I can go back and have this conversation when the episode count's released. I'm hoping they don't do 12. I'm hoping it's 8. I'd love 8 episodes per season. That way there's no lulls, and you have to cut it. It forces them to cut out the fat from some of the books in the middle. And if you really need to, you can condense. But I think if you do 8 episodes, or maybe 8 to 10 episodes per season, depending on the book you're doing, that'll work out great. Organization of the series. Truthfully, I'm sorry, I need to read the name of this person. From Danny Pesci. Organization of the series. Truthfully, it kind of depends on how many episodes Amazon does per season. I didn't even read this comment first, and you and I are on the same vibe. If they plan to do the series like Game of Thrones, then they can do books 1 and 2 can be a season apiece. If they do the series like normal TV shows like Supernatural, please, dear God, no, I hate that show. Sorry, I just need to get it off my chest. They can do both novels in the first season and do the end of the Eye of the World in the mid-season finale. This would keep Amazon from making the same issues that popped up in the Seeker of the Truth series. Let's not even talk about that. Let me read a little bit here. Okay, so this is spoilers, but spoilers for book 1. No matter how they handle the episode count or novel up to season ratio, I believe the prologue, though awesome to read, may be a bit of a spoiler for the show if they begin the first episode with Rand/Tamsin. Beyond that, I would love to see Moiraine be the main of the main characters for the first half of the Eye of the World season, or at least until Shardar Logoth scenes, then begin the transfer to the rest of the cast, though I do kind of want to see some of the behind the scenes with Lan and Nynaeve. RJ didn't really explain how those two's feelings began. Yeah, once again, I don't really disagree with anything you're saying here, and you and I are definitely vibing about episode counts being important, so, you know what, you get involved with the conversation with Nick and I, alright? Danny, Nick, and Daniel, we're 3. We're going to have our own little chat, and it's going to be great, all right? So this person, George East, which I think you've left comments before, my friend, you broke it down. You broke it down to 10 episodes, and, man, you did an incredible job here, so we're going to go through this, and I'm excited. So he broke it down to 10 episodes, which is what I think it should be, 8 to 10. I'm fine with that range. And here we go. Episode 1, everything up until them leaving Emond's Field. Episode 2, reaching Baerlon, Egwene learning about Saidar, Rand dreaming of a Shamael. Loving it. 3, Baerlon, Men, Nynaeve catching up. That's a little bit of a thin episode, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, we can pad it out. Great character moments. Character it up. Episode 4, leaving Baerlon, up to them getting split up at Shardar Logoth. Okay, dig it. Number 5, Bail Doman's ship, Perrin, Elias, the Tinkers, ends with Tom fighting Myrddraal. That's going to be probably the best episode of the season right there. That one, I'm getting hyped for your season right now. Anyway, moving on. 6, Matt, Rand and Matt on the road, Perrin and the White Cloaks, Moiraine and co-rescue Perrin. Love it. That's a risky episode. That one can really work or really not, you know? It depends on how the White Cloaks are presented largely in my mind. 7, arrive in Camelin. Loyal, Logain, Moraes, and Elaine, reuniting the group. Okay, maybe that's the best episode. Any episode with Logain and Loyal, freaking killer episode right there, okay? Killer episode. All right, 8, sorry. Leaving Camelin, the Ways. That's gonna be one that's gonna be more in characters. Like, they're building up to it. We need to have it be really character heavy, but I think it can still work. It's sparse, but just make it all about the inner. Like, they just reunited. Make it about them clashing, getting along. How are they positioned? You know, I like where you're going with this. 9, exiting the Ways. Faldara, Into the Blight, Malkir backstory, nice addition. Finding the Eye of the World, ends with Aginor and Bathamel showing up. Nice. And then 10, Aginor appears at the end. Wait, okay, 9 and 10, I think they need to be combined. I think we need to rework 9 and 10 a little bit, because Aginor, we need to have the climate. I think we need to have the end of the book be the end of the book. Anyway, I'll finish your comment. I hope this is what happens, and it would be a good way to handle it. I agree. I'm a little confused by your ending, but I overall agree. Moving on. Another one from Swanorandi. So here we go. I know a lot of mostly young, mostly male fans are hashtag triggered over the news that the story follows Moraine, ... This is a great comment. But it makes perfect sense that a press release would be worded that way for consumption by people who might be discovering Wheel of Time as an intellectual property for the first time through the Amazon series. Great point. Moraine is the larger-than-life character in the first book, and we're not supposed to immediately realize which of these 3 Emmons Fields boys is the chosen one. Boom, hitting it on the head. You're killing it. It's the worst-kept secret in all of fiction, and a simple Google search will spoil literally everything, right? But you can still have a composed press release carefully for that sort of thing. Good point. I'm going to stop saying that now. That said, I think they will probably follow story pretty closely, and once we start to see casting and notice and announcements from behind-the-camera talent, we'll have a better idea where to dial up or dial down our expectations. A great casting crew can make this show a success, and a mediocre casting crew will make it a dismal failure, regardless of the quality of Rafe's scripts, so I really won't know how they will handle the first season until I know who is actually going to bring it off the page. You're killing it right now. If they do a 13-episode season, that's a lot. That's more than enough time to get through Eye of the World. And if they do a 22-episode season, wow, I hope they don't do that. That should be able to cruise through The Great Hunt as well. Okay, they do both books. I could see 20 being reasonable, possibly 22, but there'd have to be like a filler episode or 2 in. Personally, they might be able to go a little faster than that, and maybe not worry so much about the neat ending points that correspond with the books, but rather break the seasons into iconic moments regardless of where they fall in the books. That's actually an interesting option, and I wouldn't be totally against it, but that's just me. There's probably someone who's going to be, as you would say, hashtag triggered over me even saying that I'm okay with it, but that's the world that we live in, and you know what? We just have to accept that, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next comment. And thank you for your brilliant comment there. I appreciate it. This one is from DeddyGuys001. Assuming it can be done without eliminating significant portions of the story, I would like them to wrap up season 1 with the beginning of the Dragon Reborn. Okay, well, I'm not going to finish that comment because that is spoiler filled, but that is a interesting opinion, to say the least. That's a lot to cram into one season. They'd have to do like a 20-episode season at least to make that work. I think you're just saying you want more content faster, my friend. And you know what? I don't disagree with that at all. Because, oh my god, the in-between season wait is going to be miserable. Miserable for this. Anyway, this comment is marked spoilers for Eye of the World and The Gathering Hunt, and release details about the show below. Thank you for the spoiler warning. I'll try to do my best to censor it as I read through it. Okay, I don't think we have an official episode count yet, but speculation is going to be around 10 episodes at an hour each, so I'm going to start there. I agree. Ooh, it's another episode breakdown. Another brilliant episode breakdown. So this guy's, I think he's trying to cram 2 books into one. Oh, I'm going to have to come back to this comment at the end and do full justice to it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to come back to it and end the show on this one, so we can do a full spoilers, and people who want to avoid The Great Hunt can go ahead and safely continue the episode. But I'm coming back to this. BR Ricewind, you comment the greatest stuff all the time. I'm coming back for it. Don't you worry. In the film version of The Eye of the World, there are a number of points in which we can lose a wide audience and therefore lose money and hope for a cultivation continuation. Wow, interesting statement. Let's see what you got to say here, my friend. 1. The Eye of the World is almost completely similar to the standard fantasy. A group of heroes, Fellowship of the Ring, sets off on a journey pursued by Myrddraal Nazgul, trying to resist the Dark Sauron. The author of a series will have to do a lot of work to convince the wide audience that the Wheel of Time is a unique cycle, unlike the fantasy they are used to on the TV and books. And you know how they're going to do that? By making the One Power crazy awesome and giving us really great characters. You can break being in trope shackles with great character and spectacle. I fully believe that. Although you make a really good point. They're going to need to hit those things out of the park to overcome what you're saying. 2. One Power. One should not get the impression that the One Power is a direct analog of ordinary magic from cheap fantasy films like Fireballs and Lightnings. The concept of the One Power is very complex, and its channeling is not visible to ordinary people. Moreover, most aspects of channeling are very abstract. How to show it on screen is a question. I agree, and once again, this is something that if they hit right, will help Wheel of Time stand apart. And you're absolutely right to bring this up. They need to knock it out of the park. I'm not kidding. If they screw up the One Power, that could be detrimental to the show's future. Just saying. In my opinion, as a nerdy, annoying fan. Anyway, this is from Peter Nikolenko. Sorry about missing your name there at the beginning. 3. In huge chunks of text, virtually nothing happens. They will either cut, replace with new scenes, or redo it. Yep, that's just how shows are adapted. 4. Ishmael in the first book sometimes looks like a reference villain from inexpensive films. His genius is not felt at all. His image must be greatly refined. That's interesting. I'm not going to give my opinion on that. I'd love to see some comments responding to that. What do you think about how Shamael is first introduced versus how he is later on? And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Did I spoil anything by saying that? No, because I didn't say what or who he was or anything, so I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. Moving on. I think that similar to Game of Thrones, the first season of Wheel of Time will be a line-for-line copy of the book at many points. After that, it will diverge a bit, but I think Season 1 will follow closely. I believe that is the best way to make sure your hardcore fans are on board, will promote the show, follow it through the end, and be accepting of your later changes. That's not a bad point. It's not. I don't disagree with it. Also, I think there are 3 things... let me say this comments from Ross J. I'm screwing up the names. Also, I think there are 3 things that need to emphasize quickly throughout the first few episodes. Rand, Mat, and Perrin have extremely strong morals which guide their actions, but will also cause them difficulties, such as all of them being opposed to killing women, unless the show can change that. Throughout the series, Rand is full of guilt about people, especially women, who have died because of him as he sees it, which causes a lot of his emotional/mental struggles. He feels this way because of his morals and because he's such a caring person. 2, Moiraine is an extremely powerful character, but one who the Immisfielders do not trust. This, to me, is a great point of the Wheel of Time, which separates Moiraine from the wise counselor stereotype like Gandalf. Having the characters mistrust her is a great way to cause natural tension and explain many of their early actions, especially Rand and Nynaeve. 3, men channeling are absolutely hated and feared in this world. You need that extreme to show why Rand's emotions later, since new viewers might think, this is amazing, why isn't he happy? That's a fair point. They should absolutely... I actually agree with that. Let's emphasize that early. Lastly, I really hope they go with practical effects for the Trollocs. Me too. They come up so frequently in the series as the disposable bad guys that they need to look realistic, not cheesy. Agreed. We get a couple responses coming in here, quite a few responses, and then we get to Matthew Stormblessed. How's it going, Matthew? I think they're going to try their hardest to be true to the books. However, I believe it will start with Rand and Emond's Field. Later on, Rand will start to learn more about the world and about Luce. This will perhaps ask... Okay, I need to skip a little bit of that. And then Moiraine will tell him. During this scene, we need to get a flashback of Luce Theron creating Dragon Mount, so the prologue. This will allow it to fit a lot nicer than randomly throwing the audience in, even though I loved it in the book. I'm guessing it will be rocky, but I believe it will at least do good enough for 2 seasons. Hopefully it's amazing and gets 10 plus seasons, though. You're not wrong. We got only a few, which I spoke too soon. We got quite a few more here. But I'm digging them, and I'm going to slow down a little bit because I know I'm going fast. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, this is from Shirley Ann Bozanhout. I really like the idea that the first season will follow Moraine's point of view because from an outsider's perspective, there's enough strange occurrences around Perrin with his heightened hearing, sight, smell, and changing eyes, and Matt with the dagger and going slightly mad, a known symptom of male channelers for a Wheel of Time show to maintain more mystery around who the dragon is than what the books do. So the moment he touches the source could be a great reveal to in season 1 if they give it a whole season. All right, let me take a second here. I don't think they're going to try to make it a secret at all that Rand's the dragon. I'm sorry. I don't, because it's already so known. It's on book covers. It's, if you Google it, like if you Google Wheel of Time, it's spoiled for you. Like it just will be. It's in descriptions, it's in definitions. And I don't think it was ever meant to be a mystery, guys. If you start a book, first of all, if your prologue establishes there's a chosen one, and then you start a book following a character, guess what's not supposed to be a mystery? That's just my opinion, but I have never thought Rand being the dragon has ever been meant to be a mystery to the readers. It's like saying Bruce Wayne's Batman's a mystery. I just disagree. It's just me. I get there's people who will say I'm a jerk for even thinking that, but that's just how I'm approaching it, and it's where I'm coming from with that one. So we're gonna go ahead and jump back into this one. I don't disagree with your comment though. Like if they are gonna go the mystery route, that's cool, but I don't think they will because wow, it's really not a mystery. All right. So this one is from S. Hollis. If you can spend the entire first season building up fear and revulsion around male channelers, you can end it with a cliffhanger of Rand realizing what he is. Yeah, that is something that we, as I said before, I really think they should focus on and establish. Let's amplify the fear and hatred of male channelers. I think that's actually only going to be good for the series later on, especially once, other things. Honestly, I wanted it to focus on Rand, just like the book. If they make the first season focus on Moraine, it could be good, but it won't be the same. I'm expecting it to be good, just not as good. Though it might attract a bigger audience, but most likely send the wrong message where most of the audience might think she's the main character when she clearly is not. Moraine is a fantastic character, and I'm almost done reading the new spring novel and really loving it. I just think Rand and Perrin should be in the focus of the first season, just like in the book. This is from Wexilium. I don't disagree, but it's a lot easier in a show to change who your character you're following is smoothly than in a book. So even if they started with Moraine, they could shift to other people even just midway through the season without much hustle or problems at all. Just look at how easy Game of Thrones did it. After season 1, they shifted to so many people so much more regularly. So I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm just gonna say the issue you're bringing up I think is less of an issue than you're thinking, in my mind at least. This is from, I just had to edit out an entire comment because it had like major later season spoilers. Sorry buddy, but your comment can't make because of that. Apologize. So this is from Warlock 000. Taking the cautious and pessimistic stance, I think they'll handle it like someone who's so okay, gonna edit that out as well. This is from Moonsoar, and I think you've commented quite a bit. Make it focus on Moraine until they split up after the Shardar Logoth incident, somewhere in episode 2-3. Let the character development get focused on in the Two Rivers teens, and the political aspect should be focused on Moraine's episode/scenes. That's a good point, I like all that. Also, the first season should end at the first book, with some filler scenes to flush out the world, like add some culture stuff with CGI architecture, or some White Tower scenes and the Forsaken stuff doing something. Then end it with Rand doing something crazy-ass channeling in the final fight of season 1. That's interesting. I like the whole let's take time to build culture. That's something no one's brought up that I strongly agree with. Culture, if you guys didn't know, is kind of a big deal in Wheel of Time. Just a little bit. Just like a little bit of a big deal for him. So that's a good idea. This is from Blackio. Might be a bit awkward at first, but once things get rolling, Jordan's extensive lore and world building, if translated properly, will be a big hook. Yes, although I am like if it's screwed up at all, it could also be a big detriment. If you start spending a lot of time working on lore and it's not working with the audience, and you've already shot and edited the episodes, then you just have to like get through it, and that could kill an audience. So it needs to be engaging. It needs to be some interesting lore. Moving on to Corey Tombs. I'll go with Tombs. Imagine an opening similar to the Fellowship of the Ring. Moraine is narrating the history of the world. The histories would be included. Oh, I'm already going to pull away from what you're saying here a little bit, because they need to pull away from being compared to Lord of the Rings as much as possible, because if you guys don't know, the opening of the Eye of the World is pretty much beat for beat almost Lord of the Rings beginning. So I think the more they pull away from the prologue like that, the better. Though I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying in my mind, they need to take steps away from it. It'd be good narratively, but I just don't think it would work as well as... because there's already people who are going to be saying it's a Game of Thrones ripoff. There's already people going to be saying it's a Lord of the Rings ripoff. Let's just pull away from that while we can. This is from Light Halcyon. I like the idea of seeing the beginning from Moraine's point of view is solid. She tends to come across as a fountain of exposition that really wouldn't work in the film medium. Perhaps they'll use the prologue to hint at / reveal who the dragon is, but then tie that into the dreams about Balzaman. This is from Sarah Graham, Spoilers, Eye of the World. Thanks for rounding it, spoilers. All right. I always thought they'd end season 1 where the Eye of the World ends, but after reading some other people's responses, I guess there's a good chance they'll end with the events on Tomon Head. Moraine is separated from the boys for a large part of book 1, though. I'm not upset about announcing that season 1 is going to be centered around her, but I'm curious as to how that's going to work. I started writing a comment that went into what I'd put each episode to the first season, and even using some short, incomplete sentences about a whole page, single space, so I'll spare you the long comment. Thank you, but also I would have loved to see that a little bit. It was fun to do, though. There are definitely several specific exchange / quotes I hope they include, which might be a fun question if you run out of things to ask, or have you already done a weekly question similar to this? I think you may have done. In more general, what are they most looking forward to seeing in the screen? My memory is awful. You're fine, and actually that's a really great question, so I want to make it the one for this one. So yeah, the question for you guys to go ahead and leave in the comments down below, what direct quote from any point in the series do you want to see in the next, oh my god, I screwed that up. Okay, let me ask this question again. Okay. What direct quote from the Wheel of Time series, at any point in the series, do you want to see in the show above all else? Is it something crazy? Is it something subtle? Is it a big character moment? Or is it just an awesome moment? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll reiterate the question at the end after I go back and reread BS Rincewind's comment, which I have not forgotten about. Thank you very much. I know some of you are thinking Daniel's going to forget. I'm not going to forget. Okay? I got this. I might forget. Okay. Getting back. Firstly, thank you, Daniel, for all your great content. Thank you, Edward Agee. You thought I was going to forget to say your name at the beginning of the comment. No, I was working it into the comment, because that's production, all right? Okay, I'm being an asshole. I started watching your stuff to get a quick summary of one of the early Wheel of Time books and kept with you ever since. Well, you know what? I appreciate that, and it's how a lot of people found me, so I'm proud of those videos, that they probably need to be redone, because I've gotten substantially better at what I do. My biggest concern is how they will handle the casting and acting decisions for the different cultures. Ironically, I would want a intro that shows the map at the beginning of each episode like Game of Thrones does. I can't tell you how often I had to look at the Wheel of Time map since I first listened to the audiobooks. Yeah, the audiobooks should just come with a map. They really should. First, and I'm now reading them because I can't get enough Wheel of Time. Dude, why do you think I host this show? I don't think Game of Thrones did a good job separating different cultures. I kind of agree. And it made it hard to keep track of characters sometimes. Wheel of Time's rich cultures are too awesome to water down to make it easier to cast and act. I agree. At the very least, I hope they assign specific accents to different cultures. Ooh, that's actually something I hope they don't do, because actors and accents are not always the best mixture. Moving on. At the very least, I hope British for one, Irish for another, Texan, Southern for another. Okay, no. You and I are on totally... They can't use... No, I'm not having an Aiel walk onto screen and be like, howdy, y'all. Nuh-uh. That's not happening. You and I are now enemies. No, I'm kidding. We're fine, but I strongly disagree with that. I do not want that. I don't want, like, a Borderlander to come out and be like, cheerio, not happening. Okay? But I get what you're saying, but no. Let's just let the culture be distinct through other things. What accents do you think they should go for each country? Make up new ones. It's not that hard. Here's one from me. That's an accent. I don't know what it was, but I said, hello, how are you? It's just a thing. Sorry, I'm being a jerk. Moving on. I just disagree. This is from Squidman. Honestly, great name. If you use this comment in your next video, skip the first paragraph. I will. Season 1. Thank you. Oh my dude, Squidman. You have no idea how much I appreciate you right now, because I had to edit out a couple comments. And no, not blaming them. Like, I didn't specifically say one way or the other how to handle it. But you formatting your spoiler for me and giving me specifically a warning, I will let you move in with me if you want to. Okay, Season 1. I predict low funding for Season 1. Disagree. However, this doesn't mean that we can't get a great show. I think the first season will be more character-focused, and as budget increases, the scope of the series. I compare it to Game of Thrones, which had pretty low funding in Seasons 1 and 2. Nonetheless, we get some of the best episodes for the seasons. Blackwater, for example, was filmed in a parking lot. Props to Stephen Dillon. Is that true? Wow. Yes, a low budget can actually inspire amazing creativity. That's just true. But I disagree. I think Amazon's going to throw money at it, and, we'll probably be fine. The amount of money they threw at Lord of the Rings, if we even get half that, we're golden. This is from Ethan Ford. I'm actually happy to they seem to be centered Season 1 around Moraine, as I feel she is by far the most interesting character in Eye of the World. Yes, Rand ultimately carries the series, but the dude mostly moans about protecting Egwene and running around scared for first 3 books. On the flip side, if you take Moraine's point of view, I think everything she does in Book 1 through the lens of trying to save the world, then the first book is still very interesting, and she make a great main character. You could even add short flashback sequences to show New Spring. I'd be okay with that, and why she's doing what she's doing from certain points for the reasons. For example, a flashback, okay, let's keep that. As far as scope goes, I'm assuming they will have 10 to 12 episodes, about an hour in each length. With 10 to 12 hours, I think they should be able to combine books 1 and 2 and finish with them being, Yeah, again, I don't know why everyone's obsessed with editing down Book 1. I just don't like that idea, and I disagree with it a little bit. I want them to end it with a great hunt. Okay, wow, okay, jumping right into that. Man, you guys really don't think Eye of the World is that much content. I think it will if you focus on culture. I don't know, I said that like the biggest douche. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really focus on world building, it's enough for 10 episodes. It really is. This is from Charles Campbell. I'm not sure how they will handle it, but personally I hope for 12 to 15 episode season with 4 to 5 episodes per book. What? So having the first season cover Eye of the World, Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn. Dude. Wow. Okay. Everyone has their tastes. Okay? Everyone has their tastes, but my throat's raw, and I promised B.S. Rincewind I'd go back and read his comment. And this is where it's going to get spoilers for Book 2. And I need to get through this comment before my voice actually just goes, because it's about to. So let me just go back for that. I'm going to find it here in a second. And it's going to be great. Just give me a second. I'm finding it. And we found it. Spoilers for Eye of the World, The Gathering Hunt, and release details about the show below. So if you do not want these, click off the video, answer the question, what quotes from the series are a must in the show? And I will go ahead and answer my comment. I will answer that. I'll tell you what quote I must see as well next week, which there should be a video next week as well after I move to Columbus, Ohio. Anyway, from B.S. Rincewind. Spoilers for Eye of the World. I already said this. Okay. I don't think we have an official episode count yet, but speculation is going to be around 10 episodes, about an hour each, so I'm going to start there. Good thing. Episode 1, leave taking will obviously be about Emond's Field, the Winter's Night attack, everything up to them leaving the 2 rivers. I think they'll likely end with a campsite that Land had either scouted or they had used previously after the Fog and the Dakar's attack. Good one. I like it. Moving on. Episode 2. We will see them through Baerlon, meeting men, and through Shadar Logoth, and ending with them all separated. Good momentum. Episode 3, Episode 3 will be them finding their way to Camelin and all the stuff and the stuff with the Tinkers and Whitebridge and the Wolves. Episode 4 your episode 3 is packed. Episode 4, I'm guessing, will be our intro to all the characters in Camelin: Loyal, Elaine, Galad, Morghese, Elida, etc. And we will end with them deciding to go to the Eye of the World at Loyal's suggestion. You know what? Just because Loyal's name is said, I like that episode quite a bit. Episode 4, probably the Ways, Faldara, and the trip to see Seamas. Sorry, I'm bad with names. Then the fighting with Agenor, Bethamel, and the reveal that Rand is the Dragon Reborn. Episode 5. I think this will be them at Faldara with the visit from the Amerlin, the questioning of Padan Fain, and eventually him escaping with the horn and the dagger and leaving the dark prophecy for Rand, inviting him to Tomon Head. Episode 6, the group splits up for the first time, some going to Tar Valon, some to the following Horn of the Dagger. It'll probably end with the girls in the tower and Rand, Loyal, Huron stuck in the Portal Stone world, and our first look at Selene. Episode 7, Tower, Aes Sedai Novice accepted stuff, world building, catching up with the Elaine and the hero, her bros. Rand, Selene party eventually gets back to the real world, having moved faster and faster than the traveling on foot. They reveal the horn/dagger, end up with that town with the Code and Cal, and end with Selene's see you later letter and the Carrion officers offer to escort the young lord to, Carrion. Episode 8, Carrion Prophecies, Baron, company, arrive after horn/dagger are stolen. They end up with the party at Lord What's-His-Name's, where he confirms that they traveled the ways and went to Tomon Head. They try the ways but find Mashadar, and Huron suggests Rand uses portal stones again. It ends with flicker scene. That would be a funny end to an episode. Episode 9, Tower Stuff. Swan sets the girls to see the Black Aja. They end with the following Leandrin through the ways, and she gives them the Shan Chan Nanny Elaine escape. Eggy is taken to Mani. You mean Egwene. Somehow Egwene autocorrected to Eggy. I like that. Episode 10, everyone converges on Tomon Head. Rand fights Ishi in the skies with diamonds. Ninety, Elaine, free Eggy. Oh, okay, you're doing Eggy intentionally. And the Shanten are thrown back to the help of the Heroes of the Horn, and with men crawling into bed with Rand, Elaine getting jealous, setting up the love trapezoid, end with hints of Kalendor and the Stone of Tyr or something, and the girls going back to Tar Valon with Mat and the Horn and Dagger. So that's how I think it's going to go, at least the gist of each episode. They are planning to follow Moraine through most of season 1, so I don't know if that's a fact or not, so the latter half of the prediction won't support that. Maybe they mean they're going to start with her perspective, then move on to characters branch off. There would be no other way to do it. It does make sense for that for your first few episodes, though. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Keep up the good work, Daniel. You're killing it. You're killing it too, dude. Wow, no way they're going to cram that much into one season. If they did it the way you're suggesting, there would be no breathing room at all. No time for world building. No time for character development. It would just be event. It's just too much. I think this is the problem a lot of people fall into, where they just... They look at a book and they just look at it as a series of plot events, and you need to remember everything else and think about how, you only have 60 minutes. So 60 minutes, you can't just bang through all these events, because it'll just be jarring. It won't be good storytelling. You'll be lacking character. You'll be lacking beats. You need to be able to take beats in the show that just let the world breathe and grow. Go watch a season 1 of Game of Thrones. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. These beautiful panning shots, small character moments that aren't necessarily progressing things. And there's a lot of those in Wheel of Time. And you need to keep a lot of them for the show to keep its charm and the books to keep its charm. So that's my thought on that. I like your comment, man. I really do. But there's just no way 2 seasons and 10 episodes. Just don't see it happening. Anyway, guys, I already asked the question twice. I don't feel the need to do it again. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you're not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. And have a good one, y'all. Peace.